There was a man in 1519 who set sail on the final leg of a voyage that was to take him from the shores of Cuba to the Yucatán Peninsula. He had in his employ 500 soldiers, 100 sailors, 16 horses on 11 ships. And they were going to take the world's richest treasure. It was a treasure of gold and silver and artifacts, jewels that had been held by the same army for 600 years. Everybody knew about this treasure because army after army had tried to take it. Conqueror after conqueror had appeared with the forces and with the will to take this, but nobody had been able to do it. This guy, his name was Hernando Cortez, he was a conqueror, which, to our way of thinking, this is a horrible thing. But back then, it was like a job description. You could be a doctor, you could be a baker, you could be a conqueror. There were courses in it. And little kids would grow up wanting to be. And so anyway, Cortez was a conqueror. But he was a little bit different in his approach because he knew that time after time, people had gathered armies and nobody, so he had to gather an army whose level of commitment was beyond that which ordinary people consider commitment. So rather than just sign them up, he talked to them beforehand. He talked to them about what the treasure was like and what their lives would be like when they took the treasure and what their families and their generations of lives would be like when they took the treasure and how they were going to take the treasure and why they were different and what would be like that moment that they put their hands on. And so he laid a vision out for these people, for these men. And then they set sail. Well, halfway through the voyage, he realized he had a problem because a lot of these people who were so certain turned into whiners. Halfway across, Mr. Cortez, we're not sure we should be on this ship at this time. It was amazing. Cortez was like, and they got there. When they got there, they didn't just walk in and fight like conquerors had done in the past. He waited there on the beach. He gathered everybody on the beach and he made them listen to talks about what the treasure was going to be like. And he brought somebody up to talk about what their children would grow up like and how the children would grow up in favor and in wealth because of what they had done. He laid that vision out for them. And then finally, the day came that they were going to march in and take the treasure, and they gathered around. And as they gathered around, they grew quiet. And they were ready for the speech. They knew that this would probably be the speech where Cortez says, you go here, we'll go here. If the arrows start flying, meet me at this coconut stump. We're out of here. But what he said was 3 words that changed everything. As they quieted down, he leaned in and he said, "Burn the boats." And they said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Burn the boats, torch the boats." And they burned their own boats at Cortez's direction. He said, "If we're going home in their boats." Well, an amazing thing happened. They fought well. It was the first time it had ever been done. They took the treasure. They took it. First time in 600 years, and they took the treasure. Why? They had no choice. Take it or die. That was basically the choice. Take it or die. And I'm sure they considered that. Take it, die. I guess we'll take it. And they did. Boy, they took the treasure. And see, here's the thing. The question for us is, what is it in our lives that is still floating the excuses in our minds that's keeping us from getting what we say we want? What are the boats in our hearts and in our minds that we need to burn? Now, I know why a lot of people are scared to burn boats. And frankly, a lot of it has to do with personal feeling. A lot of people are scared to burn their boats because they know they'll get criticized if they do.